I'll be here.
All right. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. We are back. We took off last week, but we are back and we are here and ready for what is going to be, I think, a really nice topic. Hopefully, will take us into the next what? How many months we have left in the year? 6, 5, right? 5,
Five.
Bye.
right? 5. And so we are going to get started as we normally do with an introduction of who we are and what we are grateful for. And so my name is Theodora Carter. I am a life coach, a career coach, an HR consultant. I am the owner and founder of T. Carter Coaching and Consultant. And what am I grateful for? I am grateful for just this opportunity, but I am grateful that I have individuals and people who check in, right? Just when I need it, right? And so today I got like 2 text messages from friends who was like, "Hey, just checking in, see how you doing, sending some prayers, lifting you up." And today was a little taxing day because I had some things I needed to do at work that are not my favorite parts of my job, but it was nice to get those messages. So I'm grateful to have people who are always thinking about me, but also to be at a point in my life that I think a lot of us, it takes a while to get there, which is where when you're thinking about somebody, you
Yes.
reach out,
Yes.
right? And so I am grateful that not only do I do that, but I receive that. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for people who have me on their mind and reach out to let me know that.
That is beautiful, priceless.
Mhm.
So, my name is Manetta Fields. I am the owner of Holistically Motivated, where we support you in determining what your health and wellness goals are and give you a path to arrive at them. I have 32 years as a credentialed healthcare professional. I am a certified coach who uses the Strengths Assessment by Gallup to help you get yourself together and embrace who God created you to be. I am certified in Aroma Touch. So many wonderful ways to serve and support others in being their best. I am grateful to have attended an incredible church convention this past
Mm,
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and for traveling mercies. And
nice.
so
Yes.
if I sound a little hoarse, it's because I gave God what he was due.
All right now. Okay.
You
I'll
you
take
are the second person that told me they went to like a conference and returned like just
Yes, it was. Oh, anyway, I'm sorry, Gina. Go
go
ahead.
ahead, Gina.
No, no,
Sorry.
no. I'm good. Hey, I'm good. We good. Uh, Hi everyone. I am Regina Howard Norman, of Origin Unlimited, and I am a licensed vendor with the New York City Department of Education. And I really appreciate the opportunity to impact youth and families around how to create their vision and make it plain. And
Mm,
what I'm grateful for is that I've been confirmed or reconfirmed in my spirit and during my Sabbath that I have a job to do. And when you have a lot of gifts, y'all, you try to do a lot of different stuff. But he's like, I need you to lean in this particular area because you have young people to impact. You have young people that I have given you responsibility for. So I'm grateful for that reset, as well as grateful just to be listening and being obedient. And
Mm,
mm,
when you're obedient and you are given a lot of gifts and talents, I'm grateful that He will form them to use them the way He designs. Because the way I've been trying it, I'm over here, over here, over here. He's like, slow. I need you here. So
mm.
I'm grateful for really just being in prayer and worship over the last couple of days and just really getting clear
Mm.
how I'm supposed to show up. He's like, what I want you to do for them, I need you to do it for you.
Mm.
I'm grateful to that hearing and discernment and being obedient. And now he's like, all right, now get to work. So I am grateful for that, and I'm also grateful for the fact that we have all this rain happening on the East Coast. But we're gonna need the rain because we got a lot of hot days. So I'm grateful that I just wasn't exposed to the elements. I'm inside, not outside. So I'm grateful,
Mm.
and I'm looking forward to this really robust and rich conversation that we are about to have, ladies and gentlemen, and whoever's sitting in the live and the replay. We're gonna do this tonight. All right.
Yeah, I really do think this is like a great conversation because you know me. I love um first of all the intention right around stuff, but I also love the fact that I got to a point in my life, and it's probably from working with Dr. DC Marshall, but where I treat my life like I treat work. So like how we have performance evaluations, right? And there's the mid-year check-in, and then you got the annual thing. So
Right.
I really feel like I intentionally am quarterly looking at where I'm at, and then like at this point where it's mid-year, right? Like we got 5 months where I'm stopping to say, okay, where are you at? Right, with the goals we set at the beginning of the year. And so I would one of the questions I have, right, is if you had to describe like the first half of 2025 in one word, what would that word be?
Mm.
Transformative.
Mm.
Wow, you said one word. Let me see. Um, liberating.
Mm.
Liberating.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. I would probably say freeing. Because I and I'm gonna have you guys tell me why you chose your word, but I will say freeing because I feel like I have moved into a space where I am more intentional about my walk and relationship. Like I've always had a relationship with God, and let me put this out here for those of you who are listening. We are believers, right? Whatever your moral compass is, we appreciate it, but we're gonna talk from the space that where we come from. This is
Right.
not a religious program, but yes, we are believers. So a lot of time when we speak, we are going to talk from that venue. And I'm just going to say that because what I'm about to say is my walk with the Lord has always been one of where I am seeking to be in his presence. But I entered this year intentionally focused on doing that, right? In an intentional way where I'm spending more time, but most of all, where I'm truly trusting,
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
right? Like not like saying I'm letting this go, but then I'm taking it back. I'm letting this go, I'm taking it back. So why I say freeing is because I feel like this year at this point in where I'm at is I feel like I've really gotten better at okay, God, do what you're doing. Just make sure you taking me with you and letting me know along the way what it is you like Gina was saying, what it is you would have me to do and how you would have me to do it, because I know that there's something that you need me to do,
Yeah.
right? And I say that because I have had several accidents in my life, car accidents that should have taken me out. There are certain things, like I had a deer jump on the top of my car, right? That almost had me going to somebody else. So there are certain things that I truly have. I really believe I'm still here because he's not done with me, right? And I was blocking him from doing what it is he's trying to do because I kept trying to be in control of it. So I would say that's why I say freeing, right? Because I feel like I am like really like, okay, I get it. Do you? Right.
Release.
So yeah. So Netta, why'd you say transformative?
Because I think once you reach our age group, you're looking for growth
Yeah.
in each day. At
Mhm.
least I am. And along the lines of what you're saying, Theo, what we anticipate, the plans that we make,
Mhm.
um, which is why, I mean, of course, have a plan, but at the same time, understand that God's will is perfect. And that's
Mhm.
really what you want.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
but I am a doer. In the
Mhm.
street world, I have the achiever in my top strength.
Yeah. Mhm.
And so, accomplishment in checking that list
Yeah.
is something that comes natural to me.
Yeah.
Transforming that,
Mm.
and God's transforming me in that. Um, I submit my goals and my list to Him. Okay, so this is what I think. What
Yeah.
would you want me to do with these things? Should they even be on here? Again, starting the year off, this, you know, you have all
Yeah.
these things, and in all transparency and honesty, I can't say that I submitted it to God.
Mm.
Okay.
You know, I'm a praying person, and you know, I'm in my word and things like that. But at the end of it all, now that we're halfway in, and I look at what I thought would be and what I thought I wanted to accomplish, it's not necessarily on that list.
Mhm.
Be creative. So that's a transformation from mine to his, right?
Mhm.
And then I think about what he's taken and exceeded that. You know, you don't go back to the scripture, the exceeding, the abundantly above all you can ask or think. You know, so our thoughts and ways are limited.
Yeah.
Yes.
He exceeded that in many areas, and it was things that happened that I was like, oh, I didn't know I could accomplish this
Yeah.
particular thing. And we say you can do all things through Christ, but we have limiting beliefs sometimes if we're
Yeah.
honest.
Mm. Yeah.
So that was transformative. And then the last thing I'll say about transformation is, oops,
Mm.
Oop, that's my light fell. Pardon me.
Okay.
Sheila coming in with a bang. Hey, Sheila.
Hey, hey, y'all. Had to make
Hey.
my presence known. Sorry to
All
interrupt.
right now. How you doing?
So the people that I thought would walk alongside me haven't.
Ah,
Mm. We gonna get into
Yeah.
that next. We gonna.
So again, who do you trust?
Mhm.
And it's very
Mm.
easy to cast that light on the people that have been in your life, you know, that you expect to, oh, they're going to support me. They're going to encourage me. They've always done XYZ. Now things have shifted in their lives.
Mhm.
So you're out here like,
Mhm.
really? I thought we had a plan. We had a goal. Where you at? You know, type of thing. So pointing back to the original blueprint, who do you trust and whose will do you really want? Um, transformative.
Transformative. Okay, so Sheila, I'm gonna tell you what we're doing, so you could think about it as Gina talks. So my
okay.
question was, if you had to describe the first half of 2025 with one word,
Did
I
why
think
we
Theo
said
chose?
why we chose
Okay.
that word.
Okay.
So Gina's about to tell us why she chose her word, which was liberating. So as
Yeah.
she does
Oh,
that, you can think
okay.
about what your word is for the first half of the year.
I just want to say, uh, disclaimer as I respond and expand on why I said liberation. As I listen to what you both shared is for transformation, and your word being freedom. I'm like, am I being punked? Because both some of what y'all said in regards to why you chose your word is why I chose liberation. So now I'll share. Um, One of the biggest things that I've thought for over the last 30 years as an adult, like intentionally thinking about what I want, is one of the things I always said is I want to trust the Lord. I want to serve Him. No, not trust, but I want to serve Him. Right.
Mhm.
I want to do what He has for me. I want to, as it relates to my family, my husband, my children, all of that. And and that sounded really good, but as I started looking back, and I was like, well, and I, going through, I've had different experiences and stuff like that. This year in particular, as I celebrated some of the the holy days that came up for me, these last two that just came up, I really got clear that part of my block was that because of certain things that happened with people in my life that I thought were supposed to be there for me, the adults in my life, right? The
Mhm.
had over me, or the ones that I thought were leadership to me, because of things that happened. Was a little not was a little. It was disappointing, and I'll be because we not on that tip, but
Mhm.
because I made the wrong connection. Okay, well, if that's them and you're the father, and you created us, and then you had these people in my life, so how can I trust you? So I'm thinking that I'm doing right, I'm serving, doing stuff. And I kept saying, well, Regina, why you always stuck in a certain thing? He gave you all these gifts and talents, but you're not moving forward with it. What's that about? And I
Mhm.
really, when I think about it, just a little, just ran through me. He was like, well, what I got clear is that I wasn't truly trusting him to use me as the vessel with the talents that he gave me. So when I thought something didn't work, I'm like, oh, right? So it was on me. I got to do this. I got to do that. It's supposed to be like this. And if it falls wrong, then maybe I don't really have what it takes. All of that negative
Mhm.
talk. And what I got clear on is like, hold on. He created what? The heaven and the earth. He created everything intentionally. Everything he did, the order of the days, what happened in each day, he did intentionally. What makes me think, and what made me think that the gifts and talents that he gave to me, that the experiences that happened in my life weren't to build me up and prepare me for what he has next, what I'm supposed to be doing. And I realized in that moment that I wasn't fully trusting him because of the people. And he's saying, in spite of what happened with those people, I've always had you. Look at where you are. You're not bitter. You went through some stuff. You're not angry. You still want to help people. Um, I think I need to let you know that you need to trust me. If I gave it to you, I'm going to get you through it. Whatever I've given you, I'm going to carry you. And on top of that, I never promised that you weren't going to have some rough patches,
Right.
right? But what
Mhm.
is that I will always be there. Matter of fact, what I said was, my word said I would never leave or forsaken you,
Right.
right? So when I'm getting all these epiphanies, I'm like, oh, dip, is that why I'm stuck? Like, is that why something happens? Oh dang, I know. He's like, yeah, you're doing that too much. I'm gonna need you to cut it out. Stop trying to be everything. Focus and lean in on the one specific thing that I've given you. And he's like, daughter, you know this already. How many women have you shared this with?
Mhm.
Forget I've prepared you. All the stuff that you've done leads you to this. Why are you not making a connection? Guess what? I'm gonna help you with that. That's why you stay with me and study and Sabbath and worship, because you need what I've got for you. Because I got a job for you to do. I didn't give you those times to sit there and think about how
Mhm.
good you were. I gave you these skills and resources so you can be a servant to the people I assigned you to. And when I realized that, I was like, oh, so maybe I'm doing too much in this area. Maybe that's not what I need to be doing. I need to focus on one thing. He said, yes, that's what you need to do. And everything will come from that. But you have to be intentional. You have to be strategic. And you have to do what you know to do so you can teach others how to. because you know what to do.
Mm.
And so that's where deliberation comes in, because it's like, okay, cool. I realized I was my bad. Like, sorry, I repent,
Yeah.
ask for forgiveness, because so that's where I'm at now. Now I'm moving forward with, okay, help me to get orderly, help me to be focused on what you in particular have for me to do versus me trying to do a little bit of this and a little bit of that and to mix this up. He said, no, that's not the recipe I gave you. That's the one you picked up.
Mm. Mm. All
You know.
right.
So
Okay.
yeah,
So Sheila,
that
so
part.
Sheila, what's your word
Let me
to describe
do
the path
a
of the year?
intro because I missed the intro, but I am
Oh
Sheila
yeah,
Ice.
yeah, you can introduce yourself. I was going to say, yep.
Okay,
Allow
I'm
her to
Sheila
introduce herself.
Isom.
I'm sorry.
My name is Isom. So I'm Sheila
Hey.
Isom, and I am an insurance claims professional. I am an independent stylist for Color Street Nails. I'm a notary public, and I'm also an aspiring voice actor. And
Mm.
my word for the first half of 2025 is enlightenment,
Mm.
Mm.
because I have been realizing that in spite of my age, in spite of the obstacles, 'cause first of all, let's talk about the blessing that's getting ready to come, God willing, in 9 days. I will be 60. And I am excited about turning 60. I've always been excited about each year because it is a blessing to be able to wake up every day, much less a year later, knowing that some people don't have that luxury, and being able to still be of my right mind and body, no matter how I may take care of them.
Mm.
Um, so I'm grateful for every milestone in every year. But I'm learning too that it's okay for at me at this age to have new ideas. It's okay for me to run into obstacles. So how am I going to navigate them? And I know that I can't navigate them without my Lord and Savior Christ. But I'm also, the enlightenment comes in because it's repeated, right? Because I still get in my own way quite frequently.
Yep.
Even with that, when you talk about the obstacles and the disappointments and any of the sadness that may come about it, my faith and my trust in the Lord has never wavered, and it
Mm.
never will. Um, so even though I am sitting back and I am saying to myself, I can do it, I can do it. And then I somehow along the line remind myself, Lord, please help me. So
Mm.
um, I am still in that enlightenment stage, and I'm going to continue to hold on to it because, again, it is allowing me to see a lot of things. It's allowing me to reaffirm some of the things that I
Mm.
have already seen and that I know and what I believe. And it allows me to realize too that I can still get knocked down, whether I knock myself down or somebody else does or something else does, and get
Mm.
right back up and start in a new direction or start anew.
And that's so good. I think what's so powerful is I also feel like we're kind of aligned without even realizing we're aligned, right? Um, and I don't know if it's because we do the show or because of the work that we do together, right? Because we all started this journey in the same way. So if you're watching us, this is the Woman to Woman show on the New U Nation Network. And we all came through this point because we were all connected to one person
That's
who connected us together, right? And then said to us, hey, I need y'all to take over this show, right? um, but I do believe that for me at least, and I'm sure for you guys too, it stretched us, right? It stretched us to believe that
yes.
we were able to do something that we initially didn't think we were able to do.
Mm-hmm.
And So I love, that we all were able to not only give a word for the beginning of the year, but describe um why we chose that word. And so I guess my next thing would be, as you look to go forward in the next 5 months, right? What are you leaving? And Netta, I think it's so great because when you talked about people that you thought were gonna be beside you, not being there, right? It really makes you think about, right? What are you gonna let go of? Or what do you need to let go of? Or what do you need to embrace that you need to let go of as you're ready to move into the next 5 years, the next 5 months of this year, right?
Oh, that's easy. The level of expectation I have for others.
Mm,
I'm not saying I'm releasing expectation because in relationship, I feel there should be some
yeah.
expectations, but communicating better what those expectations look like for me so that they can understand where I'm coming from and then I can better understand what their capacity is. Because we all have
Mhm.
things going on in our lives that maybe we've not expressed, which could impact how we show up.
Right.
So I guess it's twofold. Having established expectations that are realistic on both parts.
Mm,
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
And I would agree. Like I am truly that person that would say, "Oh, I don't have expectations of people," but then that's unrealistic, right? Because you do have to have some form of expectation. But I do think for me also, it's a little bit of reinforcing my boundaries as I move into the next 5 months.
Mm.
And for me, I think one of the key things that I'm working on and will continue to work on in the next 5 months is letting go of some of the guilt that goes along with feeling like when I say no to somebody or I decide that I'm going to move in a different direction, right? How that's impacting someone else, right? To where, and I'm not going to say people pleasing because I think I've graduated from that, right? But I do think there is some times when you feel like even the simplest of saying, no, I'm not attending something or no, I'm not going to do that, right? And so I think for me, it's the reinforcement of my boundaries, but also just recognizing that it's okay to say this isn't for me, right? Or I'm gonna do something different. I know I'm not able to attend that, right? Because I prefer, like I was just telling my sister a couple of weeks ago. I said, you know what? I really want to enjoy my home this summer.
Mm.
So I'm really not trying to like I'm going to September. I'll be going to Florida, but outside of that, I really am not trying to go anywhere else, right? Because I really want to enjoy my home, right? And so I think for me, being okay with saying, all right, this is not for me, right? And recognizing that the people who are in my life that know me, right? They're not gonna feel a way about it. Because I think that's another thing, right? When you know who the people in your life are, they get you and they understand, right?
Mhm.
Why there's no need to explain. There's no need to give a lengthy explanation as to why you said no or yes to
Right.
whatever is going on.
Right.
And so I think, that was the long way of saying that I'm leaving behind, a little bit of that people pleasing that I still have in me, right? And reinforcing boundaries as I move into these next 5 months.
Before I respond to what I'm leaving behind, I just want to say, as we continue to grow, we get challenged with some of the things that we have addressed. Some of the
Mm-hmm.
things that we conquered on one level.
Yeah.
And so I just want any woman that's listening to this, or even if you have your someone, a gentleman sitting with you hearing this, we've overcome some stuff, but it doesn't mean that sometimes it doesn't creep up. And we have to see it when it's coming so that we can address it and don't let it become a thing.
Yep.
So, you know, whether it's to not want to disappoint people, even though we're quite aware of our boundaries and who we are as women and what we
Mm-hmm.
bring. Sometimes, yeah, we have to reassess. Okay, what's that about? Let me nip that in the bud, so to speak. And I say that, Theo, because sometimes I deal with that as well,
Mm-hmm.
especially because I've given people my boundaries around my importance of honoring my Sabbath and I honor it from sundown to
Mm.
sundown. But people still want to invite me to things that are happening between those hours, and I have to catch myself and be like, no, I need to be here. I need to be home. I need to be
Mm-hmm.
in study. I need to be in worship because that's where I'm getting my real blessings from.
Yeah.
So I've had to learn that over these last few years to honor that first, honor the me, instead of trying to want to be there with them and support them. I gotta honor me. I'm no good for you if I'm always running behind wanting to do you right and I'm not
Mm-hmm.
doing me right. And definitely if I'm not doing the Father right, I'm all the way wrong.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yeah.
learning how to leave that part behind.
I
And
love that because it's kind of like honoring your commitments to yourself.
yeah, and the other thing that I've realized is now that I'm clear, like crystal clear, that while I've been he's allowed me to dance in his garden, he's like, okay, I need you. You've been here, you with me, but now that you see where your issues were or your miscommunication of who I am to you, I need you to learn it full because I got work for you to do.
Mm-hmm.
So now what my focus is on is being intentional on the major thing on my plate that he's given me to do. So for the next 5.5 months, there's only two things that he's given me to focus on laser. Everything
Mm.
else are ancillary. It's okay if it happens and it's okay if it doesn't. But what I need to do, have to do, those are the things that I'm focused on as it relates to impacting the
I love
youth.
it.
And so that's what I'm leaving behind. And that's what I'm focused on
I
for the
love
next
it.
5.5 months. Yeah.
All right. Sheila.
I just think about how my peace is priceless.
Mm.
And I have to when I focus on my peace, then I am not concerned with disappointing others because for some reason it's not whatever they may want from me is just not aligning with my boundaries, my peace, right?
Mm.
And I refuse at this age, I refuse to feel guilty
Yep.
about what I need to be at peace. I don't have to be everything to everybody, especially if it's not being reciprocated. I
Mm-hmm.
don't need to be the superwoman. I
Mm.
don't need to be the friend that always shows up for everything and for oftentimes you don't get that back.
Yep.
So I am at peace with not crossing my own boundaries. And I will continue to maintain that
Mm-hmm.
because, again, my peace is priceless.
Yeah. And see, I love that because honestly, what Regina said is so important, right? Is and this is for anyone that's listening. It's Woman to Woman show and the New You Nation Network. Is we all, like Regina said, have overcome some stuff, and so is the fact that we've done the work. It is easy for us to recognize when we might be slipping back into something, and then implement right the action that we need to take intentionally to not go back to that space, right? And so I think it's like amazing, right? Because I've seen the growth in all of us, right? As we have moved forward and whatever. And so something that Gina said about focusing on like two laser goals, right, going forward, it's crazy because I literally have been working on this program, right, that and this workbook that I put together. It's an intentional goal workbook. And one of the exercises in there is for people to look at different areas of their life, right? And to just really evaluate how do you feel you are aligning right now in those areas of your life? And then what do you need to do to be intentional about moving into the space that you need to be as you align them, right? And so that got me to thinking, right? Like, what are the areas, like, as I move into the rest of 2025, that I literally need to be more intentional about aligning with where I'm trying to go, right? And so for anyone that's listening, I would say to you, that's something you might want to think about being in July of 2025. Because before you know it, we're going to be listening to Christmas music, putting up Christmas trees, right? And getting ready to end the year. And so think about, where is it that you want to be at the end of the year based on where you said you wanted to be when the year started? And what do you need to be intentional about to make sure that you reach that point, but do it the way Gina is doing it, right? Regina has said, okay, I'm laser focused on two things. I'm not trying to do the 5 or 10 or 50, because some of y'all came into this year, not any of us, because we are delivered from that. But some of y'all came into this year with a long list of stuff that you wanted to accomplish, right? And you're right now in July thinking, I didn't do any of it, right? Sit back right now and think about the one or two main things that you want to focus on from now into December. And how do you intentionally have to align the actions that you need to take to get to that point? Right? Because I think that's a space where I think a lot of us get stuck. Like, we get to July and be like, oh, I said I wanted to lose X amount of pounds and I haven't done it. So now I'm just going to wait till January 2026. Right? So I just think that it is amazing that we're walking into a new season, right? And I feel like all of us, especially Sheila, you're gonna be 60. So I'm excited because I'm right behind you. I'm next year, right? So it is exciting to me that you're gonna be 60 and you're an aspiring voice. You know, I'm still kind of aspiring voice, right? Artist. And why I say that is because I want somebody out there that's listening to know that it's never too late.
That's right.
It's never too late.
Exactly.
Right? And so as you ladies prepare for like the next 5 months, right? What do you feel is like, what is the small shift, like the one small thing you think you need to do to be in alignment as you go into this next season?
I'm part of a 90-day challenge that began on the 11th. And the challenge is to, in addition to, prayer and quiet time in the morning, never let a day go by without spending some time in worship as well.
Mm.
Okay.
And so I feel that additional clarity will be gained through that practice. So now it's the discipline for me.
Mm-hmm.
That's where my small focus is going to be. Discipline, again, as I said earlier in the call, I'm an achiever. And so sitting in a space for a period of time, I need discipline. I'm that one that's I'm doing something while I'm doing something.
And I'm laughing
Uh-huh.
because
Yep, yep.
I am a cheat, because that's my number one strength is achiever. So that's why I'm laughing because we're in the same space with that,
Yeah, I have
right?
to push that back
Mhm.
and remind that part of me that's been part of me for a very long time. You don't get to drive anymore.
Mhm.
Mm.
You're a passenger now.
Yeah,
So
it's so true
it's
because it's
real.
so hard to sit like right.
And while you're sitting and I'm doing this thing, I'm going to focus, I'm reading my word, I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. And then the checklist starts.
Yep.
It's like, okay, but you were
Mm-hmm.
supposed to. Did you forget about? Going forward, it's all of that.
That. Yep.
So that discipline is going to serve me so well, and I'm excited about it.
And it's so true because um I started what this book. It's the Bible in 52 weeks, and I think I started reading. I think I started doing it in like what maybe April. And at first I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to wait, right, and start at the beginning of the year. And I was like, no, you can start now because your 52 weeks would just be from now until whenever that comes, all right. And so I just feel like it's helped me to do exactly what you said we needed to do, right? Is to be to be still, right? Because it's every week I have to start I start a new section, but for that week you have daily readings for like 6 days, right? So it means I have to be still. I mean, and like you said, I know every day I start my day like that. Or like you said, that it only takes a split second for something to come in my head and distract me, right, from the time I'm supposed to be sitting there. But now that I'm like literally intentionally like, okay, I gotta read these chapters, right? I gotta do this. But I also find that accountability is is important
Mm-hmm.
because when I'm doing something with someone else, right, I know that I have to be deliberate about making sure I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. So, like one of my friends is good for in the U Version app. I'm sending like a request to read a devotional with me and a couple of other people. So now I know I literally have to intentionally make sure every day I'm getting up, I'm reading the devotional, I'm doing my part because there's other people that I'm doing it with. So I would say also find your accountability person, you know. So I think that is so important.
Well, one of the small shifts I made was I bought me a calendar because part of what was a challenge for me is that I have a lot of things in my head because I'm like, okay, I'm supposed to be doing this. So I was pinging everywhere. I was saying I need to do this and I need to do that, and I wasn't really doing anything focused and complete. So I said, okay, Virginia, you trust, you believe. Okay, that's cool. Now you got to put something in place. So I have a vision board, right? I look at that, but that's not helping me because it doesn't have dates on it. It doesn't have, you know, when you're going to do this and how much time I'm going to spend on that. It has what I want the long term to be, but there's nothing with it. So it's like, what do I teach my students? You got to have a vision board and a journal, right? So I bought me a calendar, and so it's an erasable one. So each month I can put what I need. So, like tonight, for instance, after we have our show, one of the things I'm going to do is check off what I've accomplished for so far and for the next 2 weeks. So by the end of this month, all those boxes will have things that I need to achieve focused on the particular two things that I'm supposed to work on it. Like I said, there may be ancillary things that come up, but my priorities are those two things that I need to do to push the needle forward for me. So um, that's what I did different. The shift now is that I actually have a visual of accountability. I can write that down. I'm looking at that if I need to shift and move something over. I'm sorry for the background noise, y'all. It's a lot happening back here. So we're getting a little extra entertainment, y'all. We in New York, so that's what happens, okay? It's raining. They probably try to put out an electrical fire. Don't worry about it. We all good. I don't smell no smoke on me, so it's not here. Okay, we good. So as I'm saying, right? Because we gotta go do stuff. What we do? All I'm saying is just don't stop in front of my building. Okay, thank you, Father. They kept it pushing. All right. So I got my calendar. I'm just saying, right? Real life. You can't make this stuff up, y'all. This is real stuff. So I have my calendar. That was the main for me. That was one of the things I needed because I kept getting frustrated with at the end of the day. I'm like, oh, I didn't do this. But I want to get X amount of hours sleep, right? But if I'm not, I feel guilty. I didn't do the thing I'm supposed to do, so I'm staying up an hour later now to try to get that done. So I'm not going to bed like I need to allow my body to rest. So having that calendar has been a game changer because now I'm holding me accountable on a different level. It's not just here. I have it in my face. I can check off what I did do as it relates to those two things that I said I'm going to focus on for the rest of this year. And when I focus on those two things, literally the other things start to fall into place because I'm not just trying to be everywhere, everything. It's two things that I have to focus on. And so, yeah, that's the shift I made. Is I said I'm getting a calendar and I'm going to keep it right in front of me. So it's like literally in my face. I can't move past it when I walk outside of my bedroom, you know. So I needed that. I needed it up close to personal. And the one thing I will say is if whoever's listening, do what works for you. We have four amazing women that are sitting here having a conversation with you, and we each do things uniquely what we need to do for ourselves. So, y'all, you don't have to do what neither one of us are doing. Do what makes sense for you. But guess what? Do something. I'm done.
I love
There you
that.
go.
And Sheila, you can go next. But I will honestly say, right, I agree with Regina, but I'm also going to tell you the coach in me says we all do things uniquely, but we all have something written down somewhere. Because when you are not writing down your goals and you are not writing down your actions and your plans to reach those goals, it is so easily for them to slip away. So what Gina just shared with you about being intentional about having something that she can look at that drives her, I would say it doesn't have to be a calendar, but whether it's in your phone, whether it's electronic, whether it's a spreadsheet, you need to have something written down somewhere because
That's
otherwise,
the caveat I was saying. It may
yeah,
not be a
yeah,
calendar, but whatever
but it might be
vehicle.
something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, might be something else. Yeah.
Well, mine is going to be a combination of what Netta said and what Gina said. Is that um, I'm picking something that I've been meaning to do and have not put into place, or actually put it into place and then stopped and then gone back to it and stopped. Um, and that's spending more time in the Word. So as we were talking about it and we were looking, I said, okay, let me go ahead and just pull up my Bible app and start one of the Bible plans. Right. So I've got my journal over there. And so what I'm going to do, because the nighttime is the quiet time for me, is use the nighttime right before I need to go to bed and work on the plan that's broken up daily and start reading a book of the Bible and writing down my notes. And that's what I will begin when we get off this this broadcast.
That is so exciting. I
I
love
love
it.
it because I love those Bible. I love
That's
those
pretty
Bible
cool.
plans.
I have mine right here.
Yep, I'm doing one now with a group of friends. But so
Listen,
yeah, so I'm excited about that for you, Sheila. So ladies,
Yay.
we are hitting the top of the hour. So I guess we can give our final thoughts. This is the Woman to Woman show on the New You Nation Network. If you've been tuned in or if you tune in later, please like, share, and subscribe. All right, to this network. We are growing. This is just one show of many that are on the network. So we want you to come back. And in a minute, I'll make some other announcements after we do our final word. But I would say, I think my final thought is going to be a challenge. And this is a challenge that I usually give to clients when I start out with them, right? Is in order to be intentional and in order to really move forward with some of the, like we all said, we have something that we're working on the next 5 months, is you have to find out where you're wasting time, because so many of us don't get done. And I'm saying this speaking from personal experience. Before I did this challenge like years ago, I always would say I didn't have time to do certain things. And I did this exercise with a group of people, James Girls, right? If anybody remembers James Girls with DC Martin, right? Where you track how you spend your time. So you could do it for 3 days, you could do it for 7 days, right? But from the time you get up to the time you go to bed, you're tracking what are you doing throughout the day. And you're categorizing it into 3 categories. Productive time, there's neutral time. I forget what we the real term, but it's neutral time, and then there's wasted time, right? And so productive time is things that you are doing that are aligned with your goals, right? Things that you have to do, right? That could be, that's work, right? That could be, something that you have set up to meet your goals. If that's going to the gym, right? Whatever, if you're trying to lose weight. Neutral time is something like maybe you're checking in with a friend, right? It's not time wasted, right? And is not necessarily made productive, but it's time that's necessary, right? Because we do have to check in with family, friends, right? Things that we have to do is getting up, taking a shower. That's something you have to do every day, right? But wasted time is watching the Real Housewives of Atlanta for hours on TV. It's been it's time spent where you're saying you don't really have time to do something, but if you were not doing that, and I will tell you guys, and I'm saying this and challenging you to do this because I learned this for myself. When I did this challenge, I found that I was spending so much time watching TV that it was so much wasted time that now when I watch TV, it is usually on the weekend. I'm intentional about it. And so I might sit in front of the TV for a few hours to binge watch something or to catch up on something, but that is intentional, right? But it's not during the week when I'm coming home, I'm sitting in front of a TV, I'm watching hours and hours of a program, and then saying, oh, I wasn't able to do this, or I wasn't able to do that. So, my challenge to some of you, or any of you that will watch this now or will be watching it later, is to track your time. And that's my final word. Gina, I'm going to have you go because I know you got to hop off.
Yes. So my final thought is be intentional, but don't let it be a beat up thing. So don't get caught up in, oh, what I needed to do the first half. The first half is already done. So embrace where you are right now so that you can be real focused and integrity about what you still can do. All right. So and then you could create a plan around that. But I would suggest in that plan, honor your commitment and be able to notate it somewhere, whether you do it like calendar, journal, you know, um, any way you could take notes, right? But and I'll say for me, what helped me really get clear on how to move forward is just trusting God with everything. Before I started getting too crazy with my plan, I say, okay, Father, this is what I came up with. Does this line up with what you want me to do? And He'll let me know what to flesh out and what to work on. So that's what I would share as my last thought. In all your planning, put God in it. If you are a believer, put Him in it, not just at the top of it, but in the middle of what you're up to. He needs to be in the middle, okay? So He could come out and help you with everything going on. So that's my final word. And thank y'all, and good night.
Good night. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, all right, okay.
So I would say my final words it would include requiring yourself to grow and being honest with yourself. If you have created goals at the beginning of the year and nothing on that list has moved significantly, and you are honest and looking at the fact that some other things could have happened, but you chose for whatever reason not to hold true to what you said you wanted. Reassess it. That's perfectly fine. Maybe it isn't a goal anymore, but move forward, grow. Anything that doesn't grow that should be growing, we look at that thing and say something's wrong. We don't get an out. We don't get a pass on that. We should all be growing in our spiritual walk, growing naturally in the things that would make us better on the other side of whatever age we're going to be. Right, Sheila? Yes. Growth and perseverance, showing up for yourself. You can do so many more things than you give yourself credit for with the help of the Lord. So don't just allow life to pass you by and just exist in the day to day. Command your day. And in commanding your day, you get to tell your time where it goes. That's my final word.
Last but not least,
All right. I think mine is just going to be a combination of what's already been said. Uh, don't beat yourself up. Don't stress yourself out because you haven't accomplished the 10 things that are on your list for 2025. It's time to reassess it because you know what? Life goes on and it's probably too many things on your list. So pick something that's a SMART goal, right? Which means it's specific, it's measurable, it's achievable, it's realistic, and um, it, there's a time limit on it, right? Or it's time bound, right? Um, Start with that. And then once you've been able to at least cross that off your list, then move to the next thing. We are still under the impression that multitasking is good. And I think we're all finding out that multitasking can be a detriment. So pick something to start with. And this is not to say you can't do something simultaneously. Once you've gotten into that one thing, then you can pick something else up along the way. But don't beat yourself up about it. Take your time because when you do it, you want to do it right. You want to do it intentionally and you want to do it because you're going to get through it and continue to learn and grow from it.
perfect. So that is our show for tonight. But before we end, we want to thank you for tuning in to the Women to Women show on the New You Nation Network. we want you to take some time to pause, reset, and realign. All right, where you're at as it relates to your goals and what you want to achieve in the next 5 months. But we also want to share with you that we are going to be on a break for the summer. And so we will be back on, I'm going to say September 8th. So the Monday after Labor Day, right? Because I think Labor Day is what? The 1st of September. So I think we will be back on September 8th. We will be back with some new content, new shows. Tune in to the shows that we have already aired previously. Drop comments. Let us know what it is that you would love to hear from us and what you would have us talk about. We're going to come back refreshed, revived, ready to share, and really go into these next 5 months, hopefully sharing not only what we're doing, but some tips and tricks on what you can do also to finish out this year in a positive way. We're going to come back. We're going to come back celebrating Shirley's 60th year on this earth. We are thankful to God for her and for blessing her with 60 years on this earth. And we ask you to just like, subscribe, and share, right? And meet us back here on September 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when we will be back with some fresh, new topics. And we'll be fresh, we'll be funky, we'll be ready to go, we'll be fabulous. You see, all of us have changed our little hairstyles and our hair colors, right? So just, we're going to come back. We're going to come back. Be ready. Because let me tell you something. We're in our 50s, approaching our 60s, but let me tell you something. We all are very clear on one thing. It is not too late for us to do the things that we are destined to do, right? And so it is not too late for you to do the things that you are destined to do. So have a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you back here on September 8th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And ladies, you have anything else to share?
Good night. Enjoy your summer.
Good night.
Good night. We'll see you in a few months.
Yeah.